So with that, that's all I have as far as the presentation. I just like to argue to you.
Okay, and I understand that the complainant is 15 and, 15 to 17, whatever that gap means in maturity, whatever that gap means in emotional maturity. I know that's the cutoff, what the legislature had placed it at. But to do this in his fiance's house with his fiance's daughter, I find that concerning.
Enjoy the video, hit the like button.
And are you Matthew Gonzalez?
I am, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
I did, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we are proceeding on count one and we'll waive the remaining counts.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Gonzalez, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendants waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
I did, Your Honor.
Did you understand your charge in count one with sexual assault of a child? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you Mr. Gonzalez? You entered a plea of guilty to count one on February 7th. You applied for deferred adjudication. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
We have, Your Honor, and I've reviewed the same with my client.
All right, any objections to the PSI report? State?
No objection.
Defense?
No, Your Honor.
Any witnesses? State?
None.
Defense?
Your Honor, yes, I would like to call Mr. Gonzalez.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. State your name for the record, please.
Matthew Robert.
All right, defense.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And just for the record, Your Honor, I did tender the report, a copy of a mitigation report.
Yes, and the court has reviewed the mitigation report.
Thank you, Your Honor. So for the purpose of brevity, I'm not going to ask him, where did he grow up, that kind of stuff. The court already is well aware of it in both the PSI and the mitigation report. So I'm asking just some questions about what's going on, and then I'll ask you to grant his application. Okay.
Sure.
So would
Okay.
you state your name for the record, sir?
Matthew Robert Gonzalez.
Okay. And you're the same Matthew Gonzalez that's been charged in this offense, right?
I am.
And they are, for lack of a better terms, of sex, right?
It is.
And the judge knows exactly what happened, was stipulated to the evidence, right?
Yes,
And first off, do you accept responsibility for what happened?
I do.
And full responsibility?
I accept full responsibility.
Have you ever tried to minimize your guilt?
I have not.
When the police came in and started investigating the crime, what did you do?
Honest with them from the very beginning.
And so the court knows you gave a full-throated confession of
Yes.
everything that happened, right?
Yes,
And that was outside of the police patrol vehicle, right?
yes.
And that was the night that was that the night that you were arrested?
Same night.
And in fact, they didn't know about the sex assault count, right? That was basically self-confessed by you?
Yes.
Thank you. And tell the judge, how long have you been on pretrial supervisions?
I have been on pretrial supervision for the past 1.5 years.
Okay.
And where have you been working during that time, sir?
I've been working as a diesel mechanic at Shuttle Centers of America on the truck service side.
And what do you do there?
I specialize in heavy duty trailer repair for the past 1.5 years. Since then, my boss has granted me my own shop, purchased my own vehicle. Since then, I've learned, since this charge, I've ceased going to school, and I've made this my my career essentially.
And what it says, not clear. What is it again?
Heavy duty trailer repair.
Diesel mechanic is what the PSI says, right?
Yes,
Is that
diesel
it?
mechanic. Yes,
And how much money do you make doing that?
over 100,000,
And I saw on the PSI about $70 per hour.
$70 per hour.
Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
That was accurate?
That is accurate.
Okay, and then let me ask you, sir, you have been on what I would consider a high level of supervision, correct?
Yes,
Have you been wearing a GPS device?
I have.
And then as part of the judge allowing you to go to work, did they establish like what I would call a child safety zone around the mechanic shop?
Correct.
And where is that mechanic shop?
The mechanic shop, specifically where I work in, is about 100 or 200 feet away from the actual power center itself. So majority of my day, of course, when I walk in the morning, I have to walk through the shop, but majority of my day is far away actually from the actual shop. So
And the reason why the court established that zone is to keep you away from minor children, right?
yes, it is.
As a condition of your pre-child supervision, right?
It is
Okay. And how many violations have you had during the time that you're on pre-child supervision?
0,
And how many times did you, I don't know, cut off your monitor?
0,
How many times did it go off in the middle of the night that you're not in compliance?
never.
And I asked you how many violation reports you've had, right?
Correct.
Never been in front of the judge where you've done something bad and you had to explain what you did bad on pre-child supervision?
Never.
And sir, and then that high level of supervision that you complied with, if you were granted your application for deferred adjudication today, would you continue on with that compliance?
I would do whatever the judge requests me to do, no problem whatsoever.
What's your criminal history like?
I don't have one.
And your father, briefly, he was a police officer for how many years?
Well over 30.
And then did this offense did he retire because of it?
He did. He retired. He lost his police career behind him. I actually hired him on. I actually have currently 3 trainees under me. I've since actually trained.
So let's back up. So your father works with you now,
He does.
doing the diesel mechanic stuff?
Yep, he's in the exact same bay as I am, and we're literally with each other 24/7 at this point.
And y'all live together?
We do.
Is he supportive of your well-being,
He is.
making sure that you comply with your pre-child supervision conditions?
He does.
Would he help you comply with everything that you need compliance with if you were granted deferred adjudication today?
Absolutely.
And then as part of deferred adjudication, again, you've never denied that this happened, right?
Correct.
And then are you motivated you're going to be required to go some kind of sex offender therapy and treatment? Are you motivated for that?
I am.
As part of that, you're going to be required to accept responsibility and participate in those sessions. Are you willing to do all that?
I have no problem with it.
One second, Ron.
Yes.
Anything else that you'd like to tell the judge as far as what you want to see happen today?
Yes, Your Honor. I'd be, and I think I know that the forever grateful when we get to grant me deferred adjudication. Like I said, I've become a mentor in my job. I've trained people as far as Arizona. I've trained right now at this group from Oklahoma. I've trained all of the state of Texas as far as what I do personally. Our company is growing and growing. They're heavily dependent on me. I would feel extremely bad to have left them behind and left them without me and my presence there to uplift the environment and train the people that they require me to. I can't stress that enough. I feel like I let them down if I were to go away.
Sir, does this job have any contact with minor children?
They do not. It's a truck stop primarily. So it's, the only people that I have in bays are truckers. And they are not allowed in bays. And they're only there when they get off their vehicle and enter the service center. I don't have any contact with them due to my contract being specifically with Amazon. I only have contact with tow truck drivers and that's it. I do not have any contact with any minors whatsoever in my job.
Okay, Your Honor, I think I've elicited what I need to hear, so I will stay silent.
Okay.
Pass the witness.
All right. So this is my question and my concerns, because sometimes cases are about people overstepping boundaries.
Right.
So I don't understand. You're in the household with your fiance and you're creeping into her daughter's room. Now, I saw the statement where the daughter is saying she consented. I saw the statement where the mom is saying this has happened before with somebody else.
Right.
So explain that to the court.
Initially, Your Honor, that was not the case. I viewed this young girl at the time as an innocent child. I didn't expect any of this to ever happen in my life. This was not my goal. I was purely seeking to be a role model to her. Things became askew, and whether it was her past or my past, where we had been through, things happened the way they should not have happened. And I bear deep remorse for it. All of 2022 was extremely hard for me. Dealing with that remorse. 2023, I put all my faith in the Lord, and I pray that He and you forgive me, and of course the state. I am not going to stand here and say it was okay. I'm not going to stand here and try to evade what I did. I'm only here to let you know, and all those witnesses know that it's not me. That was not me. It's never what I meant.
Anything else, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor. Couple things.
Yes.
I'd like to point out that the complainant's mother is in the courtroom today.
Yes.
She's not supported as far as, relationships with him or anything like that. But I know you see in the PSI that she would like the application granted, not so they can get back together or anything weird like that, but because she feels like that's, the appropriate punishment in her mind. I know that it's up to the court, of course. But, and Judge, and just notably, we always take into account what victims, I know at least in my dealings with the prosecutors on this and every other case, they always take into account what the victim wants. And that's what they want, is they want the application granted, Your Honor. So just so the court knows, and she's here and I've talked to her and she still feels that way. I'm not going to put her through anything, as far as making her come up and tell you that, but that is definitely how she feels. So with that, that's all I have as far as the presentation. I just like to argue to you.
Okay, and I understand that the complainant is 15 and, 15 to 17, whatever that gap means in maturity, whatever that gap means in emotional maturity. I know that's the cutoff, what the legislature had placed it at. But to do this in his fiance's house with his fiance's daughter, I find that concerning. Because the fiance, I'm assuming, was somebody he's supposed to love and was in love with. But I'll hear your argument, counsel.
Yes, Your Honor, and I think, and thank you, Judge, and thank you for listening to us today. I do agree with the court. That is very concerning. So what do we do with this man? I think his history and characteristics, though, I don't think it calls for prison. I think we label him a sex offender. We make him register, of course. We put him on deferred adjudication for 10 years, Judge. And at that point in time, he's giving you that low cap back. And that cap, I would argue to you, is low for a reason. And I think, and that's, my dealings with the state, of course. And I think that, it's a 5-year cap on a 2 to 20 range of punishment. So I think that if he is granted the application and this man so much as jaywalks, Judge, he gives you back that cap and you can send him for 20 years to prison for what he's done. I would just submit to the court, Your Honor, that based upon the history and the characteristics of this man, I think rehabilitation and supervision is the answer. It's not prison, Judge. He comes from a good family. He's done some good in his life as far as the Air Force and stuff like that. He's got a job, a tough job. And I think he's done well for himself, despite the fact that he's in this major amount of trouble. This isn't a little, marijuana case. This is major stuff. And I do agree with the court. It's concerning. So what do? I think we supervise him. We put him in front of Dr. Ellie or the people that stop the sex offender treatment people. We make him, go through all that very arduous counseling that he needs to go through. And I ask that you grant the application, Judge, for all that.
And state you're silent. The state is silent. Thank you very much.
Putting it on you, Judge. And we were very, very close. So, I was harping on them about a recommendation, but as the court, I've also seen the 25 years for the other choose the victim twice. That was the concern, and I understand that that's yours too. But Judge, I don't think prison's the right thing for him, though. I really don't. And for all those reasons that we talked about in the mitigation report and everything else.
All right, have the mom come up here.
America? Commissioner Pro Tem?
Yes. Would you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record. All right. Did anybody want to ask questions or want me to ask questions?
I can ask the judge, however the court would.
You can ask questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, Ms. Saldana. So now you've been called up here, right? And you recognize Matthew, right? And y'all were in a relationship, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And at some point in time, he was having inappropriate relations with your daughter. Is that right? And then, we're here today because the judge has so the range of punishment was 2 to 20 years. We've bargained down to 2 to 5 years in prison, right? Texas Department of Criminal Justice, prison, right? Or probation, deferred probation. What would you like to see the judge do today?
Confirmed with my daughter, in regards to the whole situation. It has been over a year and a half, through counseling and everything like that. We both feel, we would like to move forward. And we both feel, we are okay with deferred, probation.
I mean, do you want to see him go to prison?
We would like to have him have a second chance. He was never, obviously disregarding situation, he was never bad to us. He is character-wise, he's a very good person. I'm not sure why any of these things happen. But deep down, I think we know that wasn't him. So we discussed and we would, would like him to have a second chance.
And does your daughter want him to have probation?
She does, yes.
Is Child Protective Services involved in your life, or were they involved with
Yes.
regards to this incident?
Yes.
And what has happened with that case?
The case was closed. Everything was on my end. Was okay.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for coming in. Any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right, Ms. First, recall this. State of Texas versus Matthew Gonzalez. I need parties to, who are not a part of this hearing to please whisper. Could I have announcements, state?
Prayer for the state. Good morning, Your Honor. Daniel De La Garza for the defendant.
And are you Matthew Gonzalez? All right. So I asked that this case be reset from April 3rd because I wanted to think about the evidence that had been presented to me and make a decision. So there were a lot of things that the court found compelling. This is what the court is going to do. Court is going to find you guilty. Court will sentence you to 3 years in the prison. Give you credit for any time served. There's to be Chapter 62 compliance. And there's to be no contact with the complainant or the complainant's family. Going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand? Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you.